Welcome back to 9th Standard ICSE Mathematics Online Class Session 6. So I have given the solutions for the previous assignment on logarithms. So today we are going to see the first chapter, which is pure arithmetic. So in that, the topic which you're going to see today is about rational and irrational numbers. So first, let us recall all these we have studied in lower classes, right? So what are natural numbers? Counting numbers are called natural numbers. So whole numbers, counting numbers together with zero are whole numbers. Now what are integers? Integers include positive, negative and zero. Okay. So first we are going to see about rational numbers. So what are rational numbers? The numbers of the form P by Q, where P and Q are integers and Q not equal to 0 are called rational numbers. So the number should have both the numerator and denominator. So it should be in the form P by Q, and both the numbers should be integers and Q should not be equal to 0. So now let us see an example based on this. So these are the examples for rational numbers. Now, can you guess whether 6 is a rational number? It has no denominator, right? But then we will assume the denominator to be 1. So here the given number is 6 by 1. So it is also a rational number. Okay, so 6, 2 by 1, minus 3 by 4, 1 by 4 and 0 by 2. All these are rational numbers. Now, can you tell me whether these are rational numbers? No. Why? Because the denominator should not be 0 for rational numbers, right? So 2 by 0, 4 by 0 and 6 by 0 are not rational numbers. But the numerator can be 0. Only the denominator should not be 0. Okay. So now we're going to see operations on rational numbers. So for any rational numbers a by b and c by d, we define the addition operation to be a by b plus c by d equals ad plus bc by bt. So next operation is subtraction. So a by b minus c by d equals ad minus bc by bt. So next is multiplication. A by b into c by d equals ac by bd. So the next operation is division. If a by b divides c by d, then a divides b into d divides c equals ad by bc. So next we are going to see about properties of addition on rational numbers. So the first property is commutative law. So addition on set Q of all rational numbers is commutative. So here a by b plus c by d equals c by d plus a by b. So based on this I have given you an example. So the next property is associative law. Addition on set Q of all rational numbers is associative. So a by b plus c by d plus e by f equals a by b plus c by d plus e by f. Here the bracket changes for the terms. Okay. So here set Q means it is nothing but the rational numbers. Okay. So based on this I have given you an example. So next is existence of additive identity. So here 0 is the additive identity in Q, which means 0 is the identity element for addition. Okay. So a by b plus 0 equals 0 plus a by b. So the answer will be a by b. So based on this also I have given you an example. So next is existence of additive inverse. So for each a by b in Q, there exists minus a by b in Q such that A by B plus minus A by B equals minus A by B plus A by B. So the inverse of A by B is minus A by B, and minus A by B is A by B. So when you add these two terms, you will get 0. So that is what they have defined here. So the example based on that is minus 3 by 5 is the additive inverse of 3 by 5. Likewise, 3 by 5 is the additive inverse of minus 3 by 5. Okay. So all these are properties of multiplication on rational numbers. So the next is finding rational numbers between two given rational numbers. So now I will be telling you two methods to find out rational numbers between two given rational numbers. So the first method is, if A and B are two rational numbers, then A plus B by 2 is also a rational number and its value lies between A and B. If A is less than B, then A less than A plus B by 2 less than B. If A is greater than B, then you must follow this condition. A greater than A plus B by 2 greater than B. This is nothing but the rational number which you are going to find out. Okay. So the second method is, for any two rational numbers A by B and C by D, A plus C by B plus D is also a rational number with its value lying between A by B and C by D. So now using these two methods, we are going to solve sums. Students, now we are going to solve exercise 1A. So here the first question is, find a rational number between 1 by 2 and 3 by 4. So as we studied, the given condition is, if A and B are two rational numbers, then 1 by 2 into A plus B is also a rational number, right? So using this condition, we are going to solve this sum. So here the given A value is 1 by 2 and B value is 3 by 4. So when you apply it in the formula, what will you get? Half A value is 1 by 2 and B value here is 3 by 4. So now when you solve the terms which is inside the bracket, what will we get? 1 by 2. If you take LCM in the denominator, we will get 4, right? So here 2 into 2 is 4, so 1 into 2 is 2 plus 3. So now the next step is, if you add these two terms, we will get 5 by 4, right? So when you multiply this, you will get 5 by 8. So we have found a rational number 5 by 8, which is in between 1 by 2 and 3 by 4. Okay. So the second sum is, find two rational numbers between 3 by 4 and 1 into 1 by 5. So in previous sum, we found only one rational number, right? So in this sum, they are asking us to find two rational numbers. So here, the given condition is, if A by B and C by D are two given rational numbers, then A plus C by B plus D. So using this condition, we are going to find out two rational numbers. Okay. So now, if you look at this term, 3 by 4 and 1 into 1 by 5, the second term is in mixed fraction, right? So when you convert this to improper fraction, we will get 6 by 5. So now we are going to find out rational number lying between 3 by 4 and 6 by 5. So when you substitute in the formula, what will you get? A plus C by B plus D, right? So here A value is 3. So 3 plus C. C value is 6. Divides B plus D. So B is 4 and D is 5. So when you solve this, you will get 9 by 9, right? So the answer is 1. So we have found a rational number lying between these two numbers, right? So that is between 6 by 5 and 3 by 4, we have found 1. So now we can find another rational number either between these two numbers or between these two numbers. So shall we find a rational number between 3 by 4 and 1? So we are going to find a rational number between 3 by 4 and 1. Since the second term does not have denominator, it is understood that it has 1 in the denominator, right? So when you substitute in the condition, you will get 3 plus 1 by 4 plus 1. Okay. So now when you solve this, 3 plus 1 is 4. 4 plus 1 is 5. So now we have find 4 by 5 is a rational number between 3 by 4 and 1. Right. So between 3 by 4 and 1, we have found 4 by 5. So thus we have found rational numbers, that is 1 and 4 by 5. So the two rational numbers are 1 and 4 by 5. Okay. So the next sum is find 3 rational numbers between 0 and 0.2. So here the given numbers are 0 and 0.2. So we have learnt one condition. If A and B are two rational numbers, then A plus B by 2 is also a rational number, right? So using this condition, we are going to solve this sum. So first we are going to find a rational number between 0 and 0.2. So according to the condition, A plus B by 2, right? Here A value is 0 and B value is 0.2. So 0 plus 0.2 by 2, right? So if you add this, what will you get? 0.2 by 2, right? So now if you cancel this, what will you get? 0.1, right? So now we have found 0.1 which lies between 0 and 0.2, right? So between 0 and 0.2, 0.1 lies. So now we need to find two more rational numbers, right? Since we are given, we need to find 3 rational numbers. So we have found one rational number to be 0.1. So we need to find 2 more rational numbers. So we can find between 0 and 0.1 and 0.1 and 0.2. So the second step is between 0 and 0.1. Between 0 and 0.1. So using the same condition, A plus B by 2, right? So 0 plus 0.1 by 2. So when you add this, what will you get? 0.1 by 2, right? So now when you cancel this, we will get 0.05, right? So now between 0 and 0.5, we have found 0.05. So between 0 and 0.1, we have found 0.05, right? So now we are going to find next rational number between 0.1 and 0.2. So between 0.1 and 0.2. So using the condition, we will get 0.1 plus 0.2 by 2. Right. So when you add this, what will you get? 0.3 by 2. So when you divide this, we will get 0.15. Okay. Now between 0 and 0.1 and 0.2, we have found 0.15. So now we need to arrange this, right? So between 0 and 0.1, we found 0.05, right? And between 0.1 and 0.2, we found 0.15. So here the 3 rational numbers are 0.05, 0.1 and 0.15. Okay. So the 7th sum is express 12 by 125 as decimal fraction. So we are going to see 2 methods on how to solve this sum. So the first method is general division. So 12 divides 125. So since we have only 2 terms here, we are going to place one decimal point and add 1 0. So now again 120 is smaller than 125, right? So you need to add one more 0. So if you're going to add 1 0 here also we must add 0, right? So now 125 into 9 jar is 100125. So now if you subtract these two terms, we will get 750. So now again 125 into 6 are 125 into 6 is 750. So now if you subtract these two terms, your answer will be 0. So we found the answer to be 0.096. So this is one way of doing. So the next method is try to write the denominator in terms of 1000. So when will you get denominator as 1000? If you multiply 125 into 8. So 125 into 8. Since we are multiplying denominator with the number 8, we have to multiply the numerator also with the same number. So 12 into 8 is 96 and 125 into 8 is 1000. So this we have already studied in lower classes, right? Since we have 3 zeros in denominator, so before 3 numbers you have to place the decimal point. So you will get 0.096. So the answer is 0.096. So the next sum is express the following rational numbers in P by Q form. So the given number is 6.46 the whole bar. So first let us assume the given number to be x. So let x equals 6.46 bar. So here since bar is for both the numbers, we know that both the numbers are repeated again and again, right? So you will get x to be 6.464646 etc, right? So mark this equation as 1. So now what I'm going to do is, since 2 digits are repeated, you are going to multiply both sides of the equation by 10 power 2. Okay. So when you multiply 10 power 2 is nothing but what? 100, right? So you have to multiply both sides of the equation by 100. So multiply both sides by 100. So if you multiply both sides of the equation by 100, what will we get? 100x equals 100 into 6.464646. Right? So now if you multiply this, what will you get? 100x equals 646.4646. Since we have 2 zeros here, you have to place the decimal point after 2 zeros, right? So we will get 646.4646. So now mark this equation as 2. So now what I'm going to do is subtract equation 2 and 1. Subtract 2 minus 1. So what will you get in the left hand side? 100x minus first one is this one, right? So 100x minus x equals, so here 646.4646 minus 6.4646. Right? So when you subtract 100x minus x, what will we get? 99x, right? So now if you subtract these two terms, we will get 640. So we have found the x value to be 640 by 99. So they have asked us to write the given number in P by Q form, right? So we wrote the given number in P by Q form, that is 640 by 99. Okay? So in ninth sum, the second subdivision is 0.136 bar. So if you observe the question, the bar is for last two terms and not for the first term. So let us assume the given question to be x. So now this x can be written as 0.136, 36, 36, etc. Right? So mark this equation as 1. Now since after the decimal point you have one digit which is not repeated, right? So you have to multiply the equation by 10. Multiply equation 1 by 10. So if you multiply the equation 1 by 10, what will you get? 10x equals, so when you multiply it by 10, the decimal point shifts to one digit, right? So we will get 1.363636. So now if you observe this equation, after decimal point there are two digits which are repeated, right? So if you multiply the equation by 10 power 2, which is 100. So multiply equation 2 by 100. So what will you get? 1000x equals 100 into 1.363636, right? So now if you solve this, what will we get? 1000x equals, decimal point will be shifted two digits after, so we will get 136.3636, right? So this will be our equation 3. So now what I am going to do is subtract equation 3 and 2. So if you subtract equation 3 and 2, we will get 1000x minus 10x equals 136.3636 minus 1.3636. Right? So if you subtract 1000x minus 10x, we will get 990x. So in the right hand side, we will get 135. So now if you bring 135 and if you bring 990 to the other side, you will get 135 by 990, right? So now if you solve this, we will get the answer to be 3 by 22. So we have represented the given question in P by Q form, which is 3 by 22. So now we are going to see about irrational numbers. So before going to the definition of irrational numbers, we need to know about two concepts. See what are terminating decimals and non-terminating decimals. So in order to express a function P by Q in decimal form, we divide P by Q. If after a finite number of steps, no remainder is left, then we call it a terminating decimal. So now let us see an example based on this so that you will understand it in a better way. So now we need to identify which one is terminating decimal and which one is non-terminating decimal. So now here in the first step, if you divide 1 by 4, the answer is 0.25. Can you tell me whether this is terminating or non-terminating? It is terminating, right? Because the digits after the decimal point ends and do not go forever. So now if you observe the second question, 8 by 15. When you divide 8 by 15, the answer is 0.5333, etc. So now it is a non-terminating decimal, right? Here the digit 3 is repeated indefinitely. So now my question is, just by looking at a fraction alone, can you say whether it is a terminating or non-terminating decimal? Okay, come, let's see. So there's one remark which you need to remember. A fraction p by q is terminating decimal only when the prime factors of q are 2 and 5, which means q is the denominator here, right? You have to express the denominator as the prime factors. So here in 5 by 2, the prime factors of 2 is 2 only. So it is a terminating decimal. In 8 by 5, the denominator q is 5. The prime factors of 5 is also 5. So it is a terminating decimal. But when you look at the third question, 17 by 6, if you find out the prime factors of 6, it is 2 into 3, right? So which is non-terminating. Because if the prime factors of the denominator are other than 2 and 5, they are non-terminating decimals. So we reduce the denominators to its prime factors first, and then we will identify whether it is terminating or non-terminating decimals. Okay. So the next is repeating or non-repeating decimals. A decimal in which a digit or set of digits repeats continually is called a repeating or recurring decimal. A non-repeating decimal is a decimal number that continues endlessly with no group of digits repeating endlessly. Okay. So coming to the definition of irrational numbers, every non-terminating and non-repeating decimals are irrational. So as we saw, non-terminating means the digits after the decimal point continues endlessly, and non-repeating means the same digits or the same set of digits must not repeat. So here are the examples of irrational numbers. So if you observe in the given examples, the digits after the decimal point continues and there are no repetition of digits. Okay.
Now we are going to see exercise 1b. So in that the fifth question is, show that root 3 is not a rational number. So we are going to solve this by the method of contradiction. So what is the method of contradiction? You have to assume that root 3 is a rational number and you have to conclude by saying that it is not a rational number. Okay. So now, suppose root 3 is a rational number. So since it is a rational number, it will be of the form p by q, right? So we are going to write root 3 equals p by q. So according to the rational number definition, we will write p and q are integers and have no common factors other than 1. Also, q should not be equal to 0, right? So now next, you have to square on both sides. So if you square on both sides, what will you get? 3 equals p by q the whole square, right? Now if you apply this square inside the bracket, we will get 3 equals p square by q square. Now if you bring this q square to the other side, we will get 3q square equals p square, right? So from this we can write p square equals 3q square. So what do you observe from this? P square is a multiple of 3, right? So p square is a multiple of 3. If p square is a multiple of 3, then obviously p will also be a multiple of 3, right? Now we are going to assume p to be 3 by m. So let p equals 3 by m. So now if you square on both sides, we will get p square equals 9m square. Right. Now again, we know p square value is 3q square, right? So you're going to substitute 3q square in the place of p square and write 9m square as such. So now if you bring this 3 to the other side, what will you get? Q square equals 9 by 3 m square, right? So when you cancel this, you will get q square equals 3 m square, right? Now what do you observe from this? You can say q square is a multiple of 3. So if q square is a multiple of 3, then obviously q is also a multiple of 3, right? So now, previously we have seen that p is a multiple of 3. So here we have seen that q is a multiple of 3. So from this we can say that p and q are multiples of 3. Now, this contradicts the hypothesis. Why? Because p and q are the rational numbers, right? P by q form. So, it should not have common factor other than 1. But here we have p and q are multiples of 3. So, this contradicts the hypothesis. P and Q have no common factor other than 1. Therefore, root 3 is not a rational number. So, we have proved that root 3 is not a rational number. So, the next question is root 100 plus root 36 the same as root 100 plus 36? So, they are asking us whether the two given numbers are same. So, the first number is root 100 plus root 36, right? So, root 100 can be written as 10, since 10 into 10 is 100. Likewise, root 36 can be written as 6, since 6 into 6 is 36. So, when you add these two terms, you will get 16. So, this is the second term, root 100 plus 36. So, root 100 plus 36 can be written as, if you add these two terms, you will get root 136, right? So, using the square root division, this we have already learnt in lower classes, right? So, using the square root division, so somewhat we have got the answer to be 11.6 approximately. So, when you observe the answers for these two terms, 16 and 11.6, they are not the same, right? So, we have to conclude saying that the two given numbers are not the same. Okay?
Students, let us quickly recall what we have learned so far. Can anyone define what are rational numbers? The numbers of the form p by q, where p and q are integers and q not equal to 0, is called a rational number, ma'am. Very good. So now the next question is, write the additive inverse of minus 3 by 7. It is 3 by 7, ma'am. Very good. The additive inverse of minus 3 by 7 is 3 by 7. So now the next question is, convert 0.8 bar to fractional form. The answer is 8 by 9, ma'am. Very good. Now can anyone explain irrational numbers?
Every non-terminating and non-repeating decimal is irrational, ma'am.
Very good. Students, I hope everybody understood the concept clearly. So based on this, I have given you an assignment.
Work out the assignment sums in your classwork and submit it in the GCR. The procedure for joining GCR is given here. This is mandatory for everybody. Join Google Classroom. using the code immediately. Write the exercise sums on your classwork. Work out the assignment sums and submit it to the GCR. Thank you.